Come with me to set up my classroom screen for occupational therapy, teletherapy this school year. If you have not heard of Classroomscreen, you are missing out on a true gem in the education world. It's free. There are paid versions. I have never used them. I personally find the free version to be everything I've ever needed. But this is a great interactive way to begin teletherapy sessions with a check-in. So, without further ado, let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is visit classroomscreen.com. And once you're here, you can just click the try for free button. It's going to pull up a lovely blank canvas, classroom screen. You may have a different background. We're going to change this so it doesn't really matter what the background is, but this is our blank canvas. Now, for me, I am going to go ahead and update the background as we get started. You're just going to click this little icon at the bottom that says background. Once you click that, you can upload your own background. I have created this OT check-in background. And in case you're wondering, this is going to be available. I have the link posted if you're interested in this specific background, or you can create your own. But I find that some of the features on Classroomscreen, it may just not have everything that I need every single time. So this is a fail-proof way to just put things in there and we can adjust it as we go. So once the screen is updated, we see a few things going on. First and foremost, the ratio is off, right? The screen ratio is off. So we're going to go to settings and we are going to click on a fixed ratio. That means no matter what size the screen is that your student is viewing this on, it's not going to change. So I usually like to do this 16:9. You can also do the 4:3 ratio, and that is going to make this screen fixed. So no matter the size of the screen, it's always going to fit nicely on the canvas. So that's what we're seeing. We can see all the words now. Everything is clear. Now, what can we add to make this interactive? Because right now, you can't click on anything. It's just kind of a basic overview. But I want my students to be able to engage with this. When I start the session, I want to be able to share the screen, kind of just like this. If you were the student, this is what you would be seeing. And I want you to be able to interact with my screen. So in order to do that, I'm going to add a few things. On the Today I Feel, we have the like an emotions check-in. There are several different options here. You can either allow them to draw, so they can circle what they're feeling, if that is what you would like to do. I find this to be a little bit messy sometimes with students. They can start drawing and kind of going a little bit crazy. So I prefer stickers, and you're going to click on More, the bottom, then click Stickers, and you can search really whatever it is that you would like to find in terms of a sticker. So I like a check mark. So I like this little green check mark. I'm going to resize it so it fits kind of nicely over top of each icon. They can check the one that they feel, and I'm going to duplicate it a few times so that way we have extras in case they have multiple emotions that they want to show me. So I'm gonna actually move one of those over there. But yeah, I'm gonna stack these guys up so they're just on top of one another in the corner of my feelings check-in. So when we start our session, we can say, hey, how are you feeling today? And they can move these check marks over how they're feeling. And we can chat about that for a second. Same thing over here with my body feels. Anybody that is familiar with OT knows the very nifty importance of interoception and being aware of your body. So in the same way of emotions, I want to know how you're feeling, but I also want to know what your body's doing. Are you calm? Are you stressed? Are you excited? Kind of wired? Are you hungry? Are you hot? Are you cold? Are you sleepy? Are you sick? I want to know these things before we get started with our session. So we're going to practice in those two areas. Again, just drag this sticker over top. You can pick a different sticker if you choose to do so. That is going to be our stickers. Down here, I have a check-in, high-low buffalo. If you're not familiar with that concept, this is going to be used more with our students who are more verbal. I just want to check in with their week, see how they're doing. They can give me something great that happened, something not so great that happened, and then something crazy that happened. That's the buffalo. So that's why I like to do with the beginning of the session, just give them an opportunity to share. I skip this with some students. Some students really don't like it. Some students really engage well with the check-in. So that's why it's on here. You can cover it up with something else if you would prefer to do so. Now let's talk about a few more features on Classroomscreen that are just embedded within this feature. One thing, you may be looking at the bottom and already brainstorming, one thing that I really like to do is add a timetable. And this may sound a little bit odd. You're just going to click timetable, click open settings, and all of a sudden we have a really, really cool opportunity to add a visual schedule. All right, so we can add an activity to the visual schedule. All right, look at that. Boom. Embed it right within this classroom screen. Let's say we're going to get started with a movement warm up. Now we can either leave it like that and just call it movement warm up, or we can add a picture. So let's just add a little guy dancing, right? Add another activity. We're going to do a craft. And we'll do paint. And now we can either add more or we can be finished. And as each activity in the session goes on, I can either give them control, allow them to click here and check, or I can do it myself and we can progress through the session. Have a lot of students that benefit from a visual schedule. There's a lot of different good pictograms here. We can even edit this so that it just has the pictogram. If you don't want to add that, it will show up as unnamed activity. Some of you, I know that will bother, but you can just add like a little dash or something if you just want the pictures, and you can resize it, make it small. That way they can check off each task as they go. So that's something fun. I love the visual schedule feature, and I find that a lot of my students engage really well when they know what's going on. So as we do the check-in, we talk about how we're feeling, we talk about how our body's feeling. Maybe we do the check-in with a high-low buffalo, and then we move right into the schedule. So I can say we're going to start out with the movement activity, then we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, and we can progress through the session efficiently, and they can know exactly what's going on. So that's the visual schedule feature. Again, you're just going to click that timetable and select checklist, and that's how it's going to show up for you. Another thing you can do is add supplies. So in my teletherapy sessions, I cannot come with these things on hand. The student has to have them at home. So I like to click supplies down here on stickers, and I'll select a few of the things that they might need. So let's say we need Play-Doh for today's session, we need paint, we need a pencil, okay? So I can input those stickers and just drag and drop them to the bottom of the screen to show what we need. So as we talk about the schedule, we can say, okay, now can you go gather the following supplies? And we've got nice pictures of a pencil, paint, and Play-Doh that they're going to go need to grab for today's session. And again, we can just edit those, delete those, change those as needed. Another feature that I do want to talk about here, especially if you're giving control of your screen to a student, is you can lock these embeds in place. So just click on whatever it is. Let's say the schedule, we don't want, as they're doing their feelings check-in, that they're going to drag this way over here, right? We just don't want that to happen. So we can lock this element in place. We're going to click on it, click the 3 vertical dots, and then we're going to simply click lock in position. And now when I click on it, it's not going to go anywhere. So we can do that for that. We can also do it for the supplies. We can lock those in position. So watch, I'll, be sweeping down here and all of a sudden I'll move the paint, but I can't move the pencil because I locked it in position. So that's a helpful thing, just to kind of reduce chaos in the session. Now let's talk about this extras bubble. So there are all kinds of other things that we can add that might be beneficial for therapy in a bunch of different ways. If you're doing a group session, you can add a poll. Let's say we want to ask, what did you think of today's session? And you can ask everybody to vote in the poll. Sometimes that's a fun little feature to add. We can do sound level. So this one's interesting. You have to allow your microphone access, but notice that it's talking about, it's when I get really, really loud, it's showing them how loud they are being. So if you're working on like maybe noise moderation, that sort of thing, sometimes it's helpful to add this little noise sound level widget, which helps to kind of be more aware of sound. We can add pictures. So if there's an image that I want to embed, maybe something fun that the kids like, I can throw that in there with image. Same with text. Sometimes I have announcements like no therapy next week. And if I want to remember to tell them that, I'm going to embed that in a text bubble so that way I can just remind myself, and then also remind them of anything that might be going on. So we can do text boxes. We can also add work symbols. So for whatever reason, usually this isn't as applicable in therapy sessions, but maybe, you're doing a little bit of group work and you want to say, okay, you can ask your partner. You can work together. We want to be at a whisper. You just add the voice levels there. Same thing here with traffic light. I can show green, we're working, yellow, or red. There's a lot of different ways that we could use that in therapy, but that's a little fun embed. There's a timer. So if I'm wanting them to work independently, let's say we're working for 5 minutes, I want to set a timer. I can let that go. All of these I like to put in the extra box. And before the session, I just kind of get it set up so it looks nice. And we've got our timer. We also have a visual timer. I know some people, especially in my world, like that. Just move this and it will show kind of as it's counting down, it will show how much time they have left, and that's more of a visual representation. There's all kinds of widgets. Dice. I do a lot of dice games, so you don't need a physical dice. You can embed this in the extras section. That's something that's really nice and helpful. There's a stopwatch if you're doing an assessment or if you need to time something out specifically. I know one thing that I like to do with my students who are working on typing skills, maybe they're working on trying to type as many words as they can in a minute. Sometimes this is a nice little visual cue for that. So we can move that down here, resize it, put it in extras. You can put in a video. So if there's a specific YouTube video that you want to do, maybe this movement dance activity, right? We just embed it and we can play it directly from the classroom screen. We don't have to exit the tab. To do so. That's very helpful. There is a webcam feature. I haven't used that personally just because I do this all via teletherapy, so they already have me on a webcam, but that is an embedded feature. We can do a countdown if there's something that they're looking forward to. We can throw that on there, add a new event to count down for. We can do a scoreboard if we're playing a game. Let's say that, we've got Miss Olivia, the therapist, and we've got Timmy. Change those names, get those going, and then we can move it down here for extras box. And I can say, I got 1 point, Timmy got 2 points, and keep up with it that way. So that's pretty fun. And there's also a hyperlink feature that's really nice. So if there's an activity that I am sure that I want to do, maybe boom cards or something like that, I can hyperlink this activity, throw that on here, click it directly from here, and it's going to pull up for me to use. So there are so many helpful features. The only other one that I would probably use at some point maybe as a QR code if there's something you want them to be able to scan on a phone or device or something like that. So these are all helpful features that we can embed within our classroom screen and edit for different types of sessions, different students' needs. I find it to be very engaging. It's a helpful screen just to transition to therapy. Oftentimes, one of the hardest things about teletherapy is just the getting started, right? Because we don't want to jump right in. We want to set the session up. We want to allow the student time to express themselves. And this is a good way to do that. I've found it to be very successful with the majority of my students, something that they enjoy, something that they look forward to on a daily basis. So the only other thing I would say is once you get your screen the way that you like it, make sure that you save it so you don't lose it. And in order to do that, you're going to go up here to settings and you're going to name your screen. That way we know this is my OT check-in so that I can access it when I need it. And that is the overview of Classroomscreen. I hope that this has been helpful and wonderful. I hope that this will help you engage your students in teletherapy.